Hi everybody, my name is Leslie Jimenez, museum educator here at the Museum of Latin American Art, and today we're going to cover 2-point perspective. This lesson is in celebration of Alexandra Arechea's exhibition Intersected Horizons, happening now at MOLA until the end of May 2024. In our last episode, we covered linear perspective. Now, as a refresher, what is linear perspective? This is a mathematical process that allows you to create three-dimensional space in a two-dimensional surface. A two-dimensional surface such as a piece of paper. And that's what we're going to be covering today. And we'll need a few basic materials to get that done. Here are the materials that you will need. You'll need a pencil, you'll need a marker, you'll need an eraser, a 12-inch ruler, and a piece of paper. Linear perspective may seem a bit challenging, but it's very easy and it requires the knowledge of three basic elements, which we're going to be covering today. For one thing that you do need to know is what a horizontal line looks like. This is a horizontal line. It runs from left to right, balanced out, points out to the horizon. You'll also cover a vertical line, a line that goes up and down, north to south. And we also have vanishing points. Vanishing points are points that run along a horizon line and allow us to focus in particular areas in that horizon. So just keep in mind horizontal lines, vertical lines, and vanishing points, and that's all you need in addition to your materials to get through a linear perspective activity like we're going to be covering today. Let's get started with step 1. Drawing your horizon line. Now, you can use a ruler or you can use any straight edge that you might find wherever you're practicing this lesson from. I'm choosing to use this really long stick because it's what's accessible, and I'm also using a bigger sheet to help you all focus and see the materials that we're going to be drawing today. So, I'm taking my ruler, putting it down, and with my marker, I'm going to draw my horizon. There we go, horizon line. Step 2, we talked about horizon lines, we talked about vertical lines, and now we're going to talk about vanishing points. Since we're dealing with not 1-point perspective, but 2-point perspectives, we're going to add 2 vanishing points to our horizon line. So, with your marker, you write 1 vanishing point, and you put down the other one. And this is just as guidance. I'm going to label this vanishing point 1 or V1, and this one vanishing point 2 or V2, just as a point of reference. The next step is to break out the vertical line that runs from top to bottom, and we're going to use our straight edge to create one vertical line below our horizon line. As so, here's my straight edge, here's my vertical line running from top to bottom. Awesome. 3 steps down, we have a few more to go. So now that you've got your 3 elements, your horizon line, your 2 vanishing points, and your vertical line, you're going to connect the ends of your vertical line to your 2 vanishing points. And how are we going to do that? We're going to use our straight edge. So let's get started. Let's focus on the top end of our vertical line first, just to start us off. I'm going to connect this point to vanishing point 1, and I'm going to connect this point again to vanishing point 2. So let's get started with our pencil and our straight edge or ruler. We're going to connect our 2 points to our 2 vanishing points, as so. I'm taking my ruler and I'm connecting it to the top of my vertical line and to my vanishing point number 1. Now with my pencil, I'm following along that straight edge and I'm connecting these 2 points. Awesome. Now what we do on the left, we must do on the right. Let's flip over. Let's come down this way and connect the top edge of our vertical line with vanishing point number 2. I've got my pencil, I've got my straight edge. I'm going from the top end of my vertical line, tracing that edge up to vanishing point number 2. There we go. Check it out. It almost looks like a cube, but we're still going to define this by connecting this bottom part of our vertical line to our 2 vanishing points again. So how about we get started with that? So I'm taking my pencil and I'm tracing this along that edge. Bam, vanishing point number 1. And remember, what we do on the left, we must also do on the right. So let's switch over. Let's come down here, connect our bottom point of our vertical line to vanishing point number 2. Take your pencil, connect this point to vanishing point number 2, and there you go. Now we've got a little more sense of depth that's coming up, right? It looks like something's protruding out from the horizon line, but not quite yet, right? Well, in these next couple of steps, we're going to further define the form and the depth of our cube that we're forming through this 2-point perspective technique. Now, you've got your horizon line, you've got vanishing point number 1, vanishing point number 2, you've got that edge of your form, right, that here, and you've created 2 planes, one on the left and one on the right. So what we're going to do now are add 2 new vertical lines to form the edges of our form. What does that mean? Take a look. We take our ruler and we add 1 vertical line anywhere below the horizon line to the left of our first vertical line. I think I'm gonna create a line right over here. And I'm going to trace from this top line to the bottom line to create this new plane or the side of my shape. But what we do on the left, we must also do on the right. So let's switch over and let's do the same thing. We're going to add another vertical line, right? And I'm gonna pick this point right over here. Now it doesn't look like a cube exactly. It's not like the edges are all the same size, but that's okay. Variety is the spice of life. So let's add maybe a different line, a different distance. And there we go. We've got horizon line, vanishing point 1, vanishing point number 2, our vertical line number 1, vertical line number 2, and vertical line number 3. Now it's starting to look a little more 3-dimensional, right? Now you see here we have an edge that's protruding towards you. Then you have the edge that's kind of going to the background, another edge that's going on the other side. But what do we need? What's missing? The top, right? So how do we get this to close up? How do we get that illusion of depth? Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our straight edge or a ruler, and we're gonna connect, you're not gonna guess it, these points to vanishing point 1 and these points to vanishing point number 2. So how about we try that out? So let's pick up from where we left off. I'm connecting the top of this vertical line to vanishing point number 1. Let's do that. Great, and I'm taking my pencil, I'm connecting the top of my vertical line, tracing along my straight edge and ruler to vanishing point number 1. Beautiful. Now I'm going to do what was on this side to the other side as well. So let's switch over. Let's come down this way and connect our straight edge or ruler to vanishing point number 2. Let's see here. All right, I'm taking my pencil and I'm tracing along vanishing point number 2. Bam, and just like that, wouldn't you believe it? You started creating this 3-dimensional form right below your horizon line by using 2 vanishing points, and that's what 2-point perspective is. Using 2 vanishing points to create the sense of depth, a 3-dimensional space on a 2-dimensional surface. So what we're going to do now is trace our form, of course, because we want to make it pop out. And we also want to erase those leading lines, those tracing lines that we created, so that you can see your form floating in space. So let's try that out now. You can choose to trace along the lines that you drew. However, if you really want to be precise and you want to make sure it looks super crisp and defined, then I recommend that you use a ruler and a marker so that you trace over a straight edge and line that's going to guarantee a crispy straight line for your form. Let's try that out. I'm setting down my ruler and I'm connecting these 2 points together. I'm making that top line. And what I do to the left, I'm doing to the right. So I'm switching over and I'm connecting these 2 points, outlining that line I created earlier. And now I'm gonna trace this edge of my form, top to bottom. There we go. And remember, what we do on the left, we must do on the right. So let's switch over to this side. I'm connecting, I'm starting from the bottom now. I'm connecting these lines here. Bam, there we go. And I'm moving my ruler, tracing along this straight edge to ensure maximum straight lines. And I mean, you start seeing that form being further defined. I'm taking my ruler because now we're gonna close off this box, right? With this ruler, I'm laying this down and And I'm going to begin to connect 2 points, taking my marker, following that straight edge. There we go, pause. And again, what we do on the left, we do on the right. So let's switch over and let's connect this point here to this point here. I got my ruler, I've got my marker, and I'm going straight line. Wow, look at that. Isn't that crispy? Though you can keep it if you'd like to continue practicing. However, with your eraser, you're going to begin to erase the lines that connect from vanishing point 1 to those vertical lines you created just a few minutes ago. All right. Muy bien, everybody. And just like that, with those 3 basic things, a horizon line, vanishing points, and vertical lines, and a ruler, of course, you are able to create a form or create the illusion of 3-dimensional space on a 2-dimensional surface using 2 linear perspective. We hope you had fun today. We hope you enjoyed working with 2-point perspectives, and now that you understand the basics that involves a horizon line, 2 vanishing points, and a couple of vertical lines, of course, and a ruler or straight edge, you take on this 2-point perspective and experiment with it. Perhaps you can make other forms that are above or even further below the form you originally created. Now, if you want to learn more about this kind of content, I encourage you to subscribe and hit like so that we know to bring you more of this kind of content. Even if you don't, do know that the next episode is going to cover multi-point perspectives, where we will go beyond single point perspective, 2-point perspective, but multiple points across a horizon line. So stay tuned, hit the like button, subscribe, and we hope to see you soon. Adios.